This is George who
I've had
says...
this for a couple of weeks, you know that.
I know.
You all
well,
had a telethon.
So you should be rested up here.
I'm
Don't
rested.
give me that
I'm
rusty
ready.
business.
I'm ready. Go. All
Okay.
right.
This is George who says, I've been helping an elderly woman for several years. She takes several meds per day and can't live on her own. But now she's telling me to go away. If she refuses to take my advice, am I responsible for her health in God's eyes?
Listen, you've got to work that one out, but I think the answer is yes. You've taken her on as responsibility, and the chances are she will die if you're not there to help her. Either you or somebody else. You can't just leave her by herself.
Well, you know, you might want to talk to her doctor. I'm watching some people in my own life go through this. When you're taking certain medications, it changes your behavior. I mean, there might be something else she could take.
We have one dear friend,
that.
they give her medicine, and the medicine just sets her completely off, and they shouldn't be doing it. I mean, you know, I went to see her. She was, you know, they had her in the psych ward, the hospital, and it was, you know, once they got her off the medication, she was fine. But it's just, you know.
Yeah, some of those medications are worse than the malady. You know?
Deadly. Okay.
Okay, here's a question from one of our viewers. What do you think of the fact that some church leaders are trying to explain aspects of religion by using science? Do you think this is a watering down of the gospel?
Well, the heavens declare the glory of God, and you know, the earth shows forth his handiwork. I think to talk about the glory of God, when I'm praying, I'm thinking of the Creator. I'm thinking of the one who's in charge of all of this enormous universe, and the fact that some astrophysicist had explained to me the dimensions of the universe, it just heightens my faith enormously.
The amazement of
how big
God's,
is God.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you try to say, well, I'm going to show by science that God exists or something like that, that's sort of a stretch. You know, God exists whether science says it or not. All right.
This is Aaron who says, I heard some people say that I should have an emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. I have others say I should have it in a money market account. What's the difference?
Well, the money market right now doesn't pay any interest at all, or some of them are even negative interest. It's not very good. So the high yield, they usually have junk bonds in them or something like that, and it pays a higher yield. So, you know, you have to study investing, and you have to study the degree of risk. And the higher up the yield curve you go, the more chance you are that something's going to default. But if it's a fund and it's balanced, they have a number of issues. You just wouldn't want to say, well, I want to buy the municipal bond of, you know, Ipswich someplace and think that's going to be my life savings. That could go busted. But if you have one that's spread out and one of them goes bad, you'll probably be okay.